And good morning, everybody. This is the Space Junkie Takeover once again. Hope you are doing well. Um, we are back. Hi, David. How are you doing?
Hey Sabi, hi everyone. Yeah, we had a small break last week, but we
Mm-hmm.
are back. We are so back.
We are back. Yes. Sadly, there was not much of an activity down there at Starbase. Luckily, last week it all has changed a little bit. So we're gonna cover what happened, what is it going to happen, what we know, and what we might just speculating what's uncertain in the future. But definitely before that, we are going to steer our attention to a beautiful mission because not too long ago, we had a beautiful, lovely mission called Framm 2. That was uh, that was a truly magnificent mission, wasn't it?
Right, and we could see even more and more very nice pictures and videos
Hmm.
from the space because it was just beautiful to see our
Yep,
Earth from above
absolutely.
400 some kilometers. So, and that was the first time actually when human eyes could see the polar regions from the
Regions.
space. So it has never happened before in the bit more than 60 years old human spaceflight story or a history, let's say better. So yeah, it
Mhm.
says it's 460 kilometers and it's just beautiful. So
Yep.
no
Let's
comment
just
needed.
Yeah, let's just mention a few things because this was a truly unique mission. So there are
Yes.
four citizens,
Hmm.
so average non-astronaut people. This is the wrong term to put it. So four average people just jumped into a Crew Dragon after a bit of training. The probably one of the cool aspects were that none of them were U.S. citizens,
Yes.
and I think you had a list. Maybe I'm asking it just out of the blue, but you had a list of firsts, if I remember.
Hmm.
Before you find that, let me just mention something we forgot to mention at the beginning of the show that we started a little bit early today because of technical reasons, and we did not want to skip another show, so we decided that we're gonna do it a little bit earlier today. So hopefully, many of you will watch it after. So welcome everybody. And yes, so what were the firsts? Because there were
Yeah,
a
there
couple of them.
there were many firsts. So as you mentioned, the first non-American crew at all. So there were no American citizens in the Crew Dragon, and of course everyone was, and they are still private, as they call themselves, fremonauts. So not astronauts, but fremonauts, and they had no pilot background, so they are totally, entirely out of this, let's say, community. But
Mhm.
because they are very attached to the polar regions, so they are explorers, and they just love the polar regions. That's why,
All of them are explorers,
right,
basically. Yeah.
right, and that's why they just joined to this party, let's say, or this
Yep.
space flight, and the idea came from Chun Wang, sorry, uh,
Chungmanga.
around December of 2023, and the first introduction of this whole space travel was just made last August. So it's quite fresh, and since then we didn't hear anything at all around them or by them. So it was quite strange that there was no marketing, there was no no nothing around this space
Not
flight.
Yeah, not even a video. I
Yeah,
remember I was
nothing.
trying to do like I don't know, like a demo before an intro video before the flights, and I had to edit photos
Yeah.
and certain material because there was no press kit. Well, there was a press kit, but there was no like an advertisement video, to make to
Hmm.
popularize or make that famous, or I don't know, like a highlight or an advertisement for the mission. So that was absolutely strange. By the way, you can
Yeah.
see the Space Coast. Um, usually the videos they shared was related to Earth, as you can see, but I mean, sorry, the polar region. But every now and then they shared a couple of videos, and I mean, this is just truly incredible. These footages, and they obviously conducted some scientific missions.
Yeah, and
It was
that was
amazing. Hmm.
yeah, and just continuing the list of firsts.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the first polar human spaceflight, as I mentioned, so it meant that the inclination of the orbit was totally 90 degrees compared to the equator. So that was the very first time to just go to this orbit, because the maximum inclination was so far around 65 degrees.
Hmm.
So it was much more, and it was um, because of the radiations. A nice or a good question how the Crew Dragon itself can let's say survive. But in the introduction in Back to August, they said that it's actually not so big difference between the polar orbit and the not polar orbit. Ju-
Hmm.
just uh, um, just comparing to these two different or much more different orbits. So, and they have done the first X-ray photo or picture. I guess it about from it was who was that? Whose hand was it? Uh,
I think that was what was her name? The Norwegian lady.
Jannica Mikkelsen, or
Winkopp, sorry.
yeah,
Yep.
it was Jannica Mikkelsen's hand about doing this X-ray photo about it. So it was the first as well, because it's strange to know, but even on the ISS there were no X-ray pictures done before
Hmm.
in these 25 years since the ISS is operating actually.
Hmm. Let's
And
see the photo. We got a comparison on the right. That's her hand. We're gonna get
I
it in a
guess we can't see
second.
it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, 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 yeah. Jonathan, if you could show us the photo in the back channel. Hopefully, we can show you in a second. And there is a comparison between uh, between the original photo
That
that
was the first
Röntgen.
X-ray photo, and now
Yeah.
the latest one actually.
Well, the first one on Earth, and then the first one in space. Yeah.
All right, yeah,
Put it
yeah,
in context. Yeah.
better to say.
But they are both firsts. Yeah.
And of course, they have done even more scientific experiments. So in general, 22, if I'm correct. So they weren't just traveling because of doing nice photos and and videos from the Earth, but they have done pretty helpful scientific experiments, which can help even in longer human space flight
Mhm. But this is
missions.
not unheard of, because if you think about it, inspiration for Polaris Dawn, they were jam packed with scientific
Sure, but
missions.
I'm just telling if anyone is not familiar in this topic, so that's
Hmm.
why it's
Hmm.
it's not like the space jumps, or how they say, the like what Blue Origin is doing with the New Shepard.
Yep. Although
So
they carry scientific missions as well, but
yes, but
it's
it's
kind
it's
of
just a couple of
uncomparable.
minutes. But
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
this was
Hmm.
about 3.5 days.
Yep.
So yeah, they
R-
and of course it was a good test for the Starlink Starlink network as well, because Chunwen could do uh, almost in a live broadcast from the Earth, from the space, in about 15 minutes. So it was quite long, and it was uh, it was totally continually. So there was no
Uninterrupted.
no problems during it. So yeah, it was a good test. Not only the Starship flights, but this polar human space flight was a good test for the Starlink network.
Hmm.
And yeah, just look at these beautiful videos and
Yeah.
footages. It's yeah,
Yeah.
it
We
doesn't
made
need
it.
any comment.
Well, actually, it does a bit, because we found Carl Sagan's words when he was talking about the pale blue dots.
Mhm.
If you guys familiar with that great footage from the series called Cosmos. No, I think that was after Cosmos. Anyway, Carl Sagan was one of those people who could just put things into words in a way that I think it just makes you think about our own home planet and how fragile this is, how you can't see any borders, and basically everybody lived here uh, during the human history. So I
Yeah.
think obviously that thin line over there on the right, that's the atmosphere that's keeping us alive. So I think this is one of those aspects that these missions can highlight, that because a lot of people are asking why are these happening, millionaires just burning money and they just go on holiday or vacation
And
to
what's the benefit for us, of course?
absolutely is it what they have done for us as
Why
from
is it good for me?
Monty Python,
Everyday
yeah,
human.
what the Romans done for us. Um, so obviously that's not just they just going up there to take pretty pictures, but at least um, so first they conduct some scientific missions as David was listing them, and also raising awareness of planet Earth and how important this is for everybody. So I think this is a beautiful age. This was the third private mission that SpaceX has conducted. Let me highlight you one thing. This Gloria, I kept mentioning in our show as well. Here you can see in the middle of the screen, you can see this sort of like a rainbow, but it's completely round. This is the same effect you can see from the airplane when you're traveling above. Here you can see in the middle. So that's the same stuff that the sun is behind, and it's like basically like a rainbow, but it's a full circle rainbow. It's beautiful. So yeah, we loved it. We are so happy that they were sharing some footages. Maybe some of the flat earthers now scratching their heads that to explain some of
How to
these
explain that it's
exactly.
just fake?
Well, obviously, if somebody wants to believe that, I mean, look at that little pouch. I think that little metallic container behind. What's his name? This is the Australian guy. I'm bad with names.
Eric Phillips.
Eric Phillips, thank you. So yeah, where are the strings? Look, where are the strings? No, this is CGI. So yeah, so I love it. I really do love it, and let's hope that many of the people who were following the events, they got some they got some beautiful thoughts related to that.
Yeah,
Um,
and just
yeah.
finishing the list of first. Yeah, just
I
at
keep
the
on
end.
interrupting you with the first. Sorry.
You have known something because you just take this picture into our show, and it's not accidentally, because of course we didn't know it before, but
Mhm.
it was just the info that the egress process will look like a bit different compared to the previous space flights, because that should be the first one, or that should have been the first one when the crew just quits from the cabin without any help, and we didn't know exactly how will this happen. And of course the process was totally the same as always. So the crew was just there, of course, with the boats and with the big ship. It was Shannon, I guess.
I
Yeah,
think so.
Shannon, named Shannon, support boat, yeah, support ship was there, of course, and they were just lifted the cabin from the ocean to the board. And and the only difference was that actually they could just egress the cabin by them own. So of course there were the crew to help them, but because there was only 3.5 days, they could just stand up, and they didn't need any
They could get
so
out by
so big
themselves.
support and help. So
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
and there were some I don't know what was that, this like that, like this backpack thing. but every one of them they just giving it out or they giving it to the crew, and then they climbed out, or they egressed from the Crew Dragon, and that was the first time when we could see these footages, because when something is returning from, or somebody, sorry, returning from the ISS, for example, after a half of a year mission, of course they can't stand up because of the gravity they had to focus on and everything. So because of that, for the short one, they could do it. And yeah, it was a nice test again, because when, for example, a long duration human spaceflight will happen with artificial gravity, then maybe they can egress like the same way as this RAM2 crew that have done.
To
So
be
yeah.
honest, we were not sure what to expect because, okay, now looking back, that kind of makes sense. But they were just highlight. They did not give out too much information about
Mhm.
how they're gonna get out of of the cabin, and there
Yeah.
was some confusion that are they gonna board onto a ship whilst they are still floating on on the surface of the water, or what's gonna be the situation. Are they gonna open the door themselves? But none of these happened,
Mhm.
so I don't know. It doesn't seem like a big step for me because, I mean, the only thing that did not happen is that somebody were not inside the cabin and helping them stepping out.
Yes.
Maybe this is still difficult to step out like that, but for
But
me, I
yeah.
expected a bit more, to be honest, but it doesn't matter.
But they are
Um,
still not astronauts, so that's why maybe that wasn't a big step forward. But let's say if
yeah,
in the
yeah.
future, oh, okay, but yeah, they are still private people, so
No, they are
they have not
astronauts.
so big training like let's say original astronaut or
Yeah, professional.
professional, let's say
Uh,
better. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Probably worth mentioning that I think on this photo, I'm not 100% sure that probably there was a dolphin there, which we were greatly
Again.
missing. Yeah, we were greatly missing after Crew 9 landing because that was a beautiful show. The dolphins just appeared and they were sort of circling around the dragon. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think let's finish with the Fram 2 topic. I
Mhm.
think we talked about it thoroughly. Um, we encourage everybody in the chat. If you have any question related to the show, just feel free to ask us because we're more than happy to answer them. Let's divert our attention to the production side, and probably there is not much to talk about, but there is one particular test article or a structure that some people spotted at the production side at the Starbase.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so
Star
just
Factory.
with one sentence, what happened in the last 2 weeks? So the high bay was starting to demolished or
Hmm.
deconstructed, but now this giant crane was just moved from the way because of the boosters, and ships couldn't roll out from on the ring yard, and they have just moved it back. And but what the most important and much more exciting, that we are getting even closer and closer to the Block 2 generation of the super heavy boosters, and one of the first part, maybe what we can see on the left
The
inside the
Star
Star
Factory.
Factory,
Hmm.
or the first proof that we are not so far away. And it's about so Felix was talking about this, and it's maybe the downcomer of the first Block 2 super heavy, and it's much bigger compared to the first solo or the Block 1 version. Just look at it. It's like a rocket in a rocket.
Yep.
So
Indeed.
it's
Indeed.
even more,
I,
the diameter is much bigger. To be honest, I don't know the exact dimension, but it's
I have
much bigger than compared to the first one.
I have to apologize from Felix because I did not capture very advantageous photos of him. I'm sorry if you're watching. I apologize. I was trying because this is an animation. Obviously, you can watch this in the latest episode from Friday, I believe. Every Tuesdays and Fridays you can watch these episodes. But at least on the left you can see the size change of this
Mhm.
downcomer. I mean, this is like in normal cases this is a rocket.
Right, that's why I was mentioning that it's a rocket
Yeah.
inside a rocket.
I don't know how many people in America are familiar with the term matryoshka, but this is like a little wooden it's a toy.
Toy.
It's like a
Yeah.
figure, and it's getting smaller and smaller. You can put smaller, and so it's cut half, and there are smaller and smaller versions inside of it. So that's like, it's like that. It's a rocket in a rocket in a rocket. It's like a fractal.
Yes. But it's only
Anyway,
downcomers, so we haven't seen
yeah.
any more proof about the Block 2 version of the super heavy boosters. But that's a good sign that
Do
we
we
are.
know? Do we know what is the reason that they changed it to this thick? You know.
I guess it's about the Raptor 3 engines, because the propellant consumption of the Raptor 3 will be much bigger or much higher rate compared to the Raptor 1s or Raptor 2 versions.
Yeah, but this is not like twice the size. In terms of volume, this is like a huge increase. Sorry.
Um, Good question, but what we could see previously in the ships, so they have just let's say gathering everything in one piece, and
Hmm.
there is a big downcomer in the ships currently. Of course, we still don't know whether it's the good or the correct solution,
Hmm.
um, feeding the Raptor engines. But yeah, it's an experiment again. So they are just trying out something, and if it doesn't work, of course they will change it. But that's the first one, or the first version of the Block 2 ship boosters. Sorry. So, and as far as I know, they have done a total separate test about this, with the downcomer itself, downcomer part, at McGregor test site, and it was successful. So that's why I guess we can see here at the Starbase, and they are progressing with it, because otherwise, of course, if it wouldn't be successful, then they don't go for it. So but it was a successful test again at McGregor, and it's a good sign that they are on the good way, implementing these new parts for the Block 2 versions of the boosters.
Hmm.
And of course, it's a good question which one will be the first Block 2 booster. And most of the people think it will be booster 18, because of course booster 15, it's still on the flight 9. Flight 10 will be boosters maybe 10. But yeah, let's focusing with the Block 1. So the last one, they say it's booster 17, and after it will be a generation change, and the first Block 2 will be the booster 18. But that's only a prediction, so it's not official confirmed. But how and what we can see currently at the Star Factory, that's the most it has the most chance.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
let's just jump to the static fire, probably because
Mhm.
I think there's nothing else to talk about
No, no, no,
here.
no. Or just a
Um,
your famous parking garage. It
no,
was
we're gonna skip our famous parking garage.
no.
There's nothing happening there. It's
Okay. So let's focus on the static fire,
I'm
because that was the
I'm
maybe the
letting
most
it go.
exciting. As you wish. So yeah, last Thursday, it was a big milestone reached, from the SpaceX guys, because that was the first time when a reused and already flown booster was done at static fire again. So that's the second round of this booster 14 booster. or super heavy stories. So it was quite good to see that less than 2 years they reached this level of the reusability to do the second round of static fires with a reused booster. And it's still on the OLM, so we don't know whether they will repeat it or they will just do a partial test with it. But as far as we know and what we have seen, it was totally normal. So it was about 6 to 8 seconds long, and of course all the 33 engines were ignited. And once we are at the engines, it's quite interesting that the Raptor 314, which will be the more maybe the most famous engine of all time, it will fly for the third time, because first time it was used in booster 12, which was caught for the first time. Then they have reinstalled it in the booster 14. Of course, booster 14 was caught as well. That was a second fly of this Raptor engine, and they will prepare it for the third flight. So not only the booster reuse, but the Raptor reuse, it's in a good way again, and it's a huge milestone to use the same engine so many times, because however it's on the outer ring, so that 20 engine ring, so that means that they use it only one time per flight. Still, it's a quite good sign that they are on a good way to reuse the Raptors as well. And that's all. I finished.
That's all I can say about that.
That's all I can say about that.
I don't think that we can get enough of these footages. The immense power that's concentrated just under the OLM is staggering. I mean, you can see the first wave, and then boom, and then the second wave of the engines, the outer and the inner circle, basically ignites. And yeah, this vibration and the lights and everything, this is just shocking. I think only people who has ever been there, witnessed this, can truly appreciate, and everything else is just secondary. Right, let me just close this, and I have this photo. This is, I really like, this is the bottom of the booster 14-2, because now this is the new way of saying
Yes,
these.
yes.
And I really like the cover of these Raptor engines. This is completely new. Usually they just cover the bottom of them, and now they all got this beautiful cover with the Raptor sign on it. I really dig it.
And there are even more interesting details on this picture. For example, these orange decals on some Raptor
Actually,
covering.
hold on. It's just the outer engines are covered.
Now,
I just noticed the inner ones are not.
yes, but for example, if you just going a bit on the top, you can see
Yep.
some orange decals, and even
These ones, you mean? No.
no, if you just go there, one right Raptor with the cables, and there is a left there is a orange decal at the middle of the cover.
This one, you mean?
Yeah, and that means that it's a flown or flight proven Raptor. So that means that these, when where the you can see these decals, that means that they are already reused Raptor engines. Of course, it's not everyone, or not every one of it, but some of the Raptors were changed or reinstalled, and the others are the same one, like in case of the flight. Yeah, flight 7 was.
I'm just thinking then, does it mean anything that
And the chines,
some
you
of
look
them,
at the bottom of the chines.
some of them you see has this sign, and some of them does not.
And if you go to the bottom of the chine,
Yep.
there are these white orange decals again, and that means that even the covers of the chines are reused.
Yeah, it's like a tape of
Ah,
some.
yes,
Yeah,
tape.
but definitely I can see there's an irregular pattern. If
Hmm.
anybody knows what this means, which one is used or which one is not, maybe, or that's nothing to do. So this is, you mean, this is the one that shows that
Yes.
this is a reused
Hmm.
engine.
Yes.
Mhm. Cool.
Not only engines, but the parts of the boosters are reused.
Oh, parts of the boosters. Cool.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because as you can see, the bottom of the chine is, of course, it's not an engine part, but it's still reused part of the booster itself.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's quite interesting.
I've got a very nice video from Starship Gazer about the booster. He took a very nice video. He kind of sort of follows it from the bottom all the way to the top. Um, yeah, this is this is. Let's just highlight how important this is. Of course, we all focusing at the moment to ship and the failed to Flight 7 and Flight 8 tests and how it blew up and sort of didn't make it to space. Well, it did, but it didn't made it to its intended trajectory. So, in the meantime, this is a massive progress in terms of the booster because this is crucial that they're not throwing away these boosters anymore. Instead, they actually reusing them starting reusing them, and this is so much early in an early phase compared to, let's say, Falcon 9, isn't
Mhm.
it? Falcon
Yeah.
9, they started reusing the boosters in a much slower pace. And here we can already see that they are going to not just attempt to launch it, but attempt to land it again. So it feels like every time that they attempted a landing, they nailed it, even for the first time. The only time that when they didn't attempt, obviously, well, there were a few times, but I would say after the first successful landing, once they did not attempt to land and instead they landed it on the water because they did not want to risk it. But this is a huge progress. Even though it feels like SpaceX is not really proceeding with the project as they would like to.
Yeah, I'm just was searching for some infos, but I didn't find it. But just compared to the Falcon 9. So the first reuse of the Falcon 9 first stage was about 5 or 6 years later, or
Yeah.
after the first flight. So the first flight, of course, was in 2010, and the first reuse was about 2016 or like that. I don't remember
Hmm.
anymore.
Hmm.
But just comparing to the Starship program, it's less than 2 years, because the first integrated flight was, maybe everyone knows, on the 20th of April 2023. So it's less than 2 years, and the reflown, of course,
Part.
it will be a bit more than 2 years, let's say, because I guess it won't fly until the 20th of April. If we
Yeah.
are lucky, then it will fly early May, but it's still not sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay, let's focusing about the 2 year
Hmm.
time frame, and it's a very big improvement. Of course, they had very much lots of experience, of course, because of the Falcon 9, and even the Super Heavy is 10 times bigger than the Falcon 9. Maybe let's say the main target, how to reuse or how to return a booster, was a very big help already with the Falcon 9 fleet, and that's why they can reuse the booster so in the early phase of the
Hmm.
development process. Of course, they have much to do with the second stage, but just don't forget that that will be the first second stage, which will be reusable. So nobody has done it before. So SpaceX will do the first time when of course, okay, I know the space shuttle, as let's say, second stage was reusable, but it was a totally different structure, or it was a totally different vehicle. and that's why they have much to do, and it's quite huge and big challenge to make it work. But they will do. I guess it will be successful. Maybe not on the flight 9, but later. But they will make it successful with the second stages as well, because that's SpaceX.
I think after Flight 9, at some point, is definitely going to be a Flight, yeah. Uh, for the German-speaking viewers, probably they are banging their heads in the in the
Okay,
wall
thank you.
right now. So, in the meantime, the sun is rising at Starbase. You can watch this 24/7 camera view. You can watch this anytime, basically, if you steer your attention towards the What About It channel, because there they have a few cameras and you can track exactly what's going on at Starbase. So definitely bookmark that live feed, and then you can watch it anytime. Look at the colors; it's beautiful. It's on our list to go back at some point. Hopefully, we will make it there. Okay, let's talk about. Now, hold on. Before we move on, let's just talk about the rollback, because there is for tomorrow, local time, 10 a.m. between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. There's a road closure, which might or might not happen, but it looks like we think that that might be the rollback of the booster 14-2.
Yes, because as the sheriff wrote or officially
Announced.
announced, it says that from the pad to the production site, or to the something like that, and that means that most chance has with the booster 14 it will be rolled back, and maybe we have to still wait for its pair, which will be the ship 35, to finish with their work, and after they are finishing everything, they can roll it to the messes to do its static fire, because it's still left. And after it, of course, they will roll it back to the Megabay 2, and they will just prepare it for the launch. And of course, that's why we don't know what to expect about Flight 9. So when can it happen? Maybe I'm always optimistic, so let's say in about a month, but maybe I'm totally wrong. But it seems even more likely that it won't happen in April. So we are almost in the middle of this month, and only the booster has done its static fire only. And what we could see before the flight 8, that after the ship static fire, they needed about 3 weeks to prepare the ship itself to the launch. And that's why if the ship will roll out to the messes this week, then they can launch it in a month maybe, and that's why I'm optimistic about the beginning of May flight 9. But yeah, it depends, because if they still need more time to prepare everything, and on the ship 35, then it will be maybe middle of May, and so on. So that's why we don't know yet.
Let us show you a video because in the meantime we got great news again from Felix, because in the last Friday's show he was mentioning that flight 7 mishap investigation is closed now, so that's a big step forward.
Yeah, so however, they are still investigating the flight 8. It's a good sign, or a good happening, that the flight 7 was finished, or I mean the mishap investigation. And it's only the glass is only halfway full. The other half will full with the flight 9, or sorry, flight 8 mishap investigation closing. But yeah, it's a good sign that the FAA was satisfied with the mishap investigation of flight 7.
Let's have the video we have, Jonathan, please, because we have a flight 7 video this show. Thank you.
So yeah, we don't know when the flight 8 will be closing. I mean the mishap investigation, but until it's not closed or not finished, of course, no new launch license can be added
Is
or
it? Are you sure? They had the flight 8 whilst flight 7 wasn't closed, if you remember.
you're thinking about it. Yeah, of course the trajectory will be the same, so
Yeah.
it won't be still an orbital flight, and the
Mhm.
hardware is not changing so in a big.
Probably they can. Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't
so
know,
yeah.
but based on the previous flights,
Mhm.
possibly they can
Yeah, maybe you are right.
fly.
So
Hmm.
maybe
We will see.
they won't need the finishing of the mishap investigation of flight 8, and they can still go for flight 9. But there are some process progressing or process in the background what we can't see. But anyway, it's a good news that the flight 7 was actually finished and
Mhm.
closed.
We know that it was finished,
Of course, it was finished. Yeah.
but yeah, I know. I'm just taking the Mickey. Right. So definitely, we would like to see soon another flight. That would be great, because we are hoping that it's gonna happen this year when the launch cadence is going to ramp up a bit, and finally we're gonna start seeing off more and more often these launches. We want to get sick and tired of it very soon. So yes, SpaceX, please get your act together with the second stage, sort this out, and let us entertain us, because
Yeah.
we are craving for a ship landing as well, and all this stuff. That's just, I think it's within an arm reach. But definitely they need to overget this problem. Not, to prevent the boost, so the ships sort of blowing up
Yeah,
after
but
ascension. Yeah.
speaking of ramping up the launch cadence and other on the other hand the ship catch
Hold.
attempt.
Sorry. Just don't forget your hold your thoughts, because look who I spotted. Look, just one sec. It's,
Oh, the
yeah,
Frame 2 crew.
just spotted it now. This is so cool. This is Flight 7, and actually they were watching, the Framm 2 crew was watching Flight 7 from there. So cool.
Nice catch.
Nice.
So
Anyway,
yeah, so speaking of the launch cadence and ship catch attempt, of course they will need it
yeah.
need for it the pad B, and
Hmm.
they are making a good progress with the construction of this launch pad. So unfortunately we can't show you this week new flyover photos, but maybe next week we can.
Hmm.
But they are in a good progress. So the concrete pouring is I don't know how long ago, just ongoing every day, every night. So the concrete trucks just following after each and every one. So they have done some tests with the chopsticks again. So the first full height test was done with it, and of course they have done with the opening and closing test as well. So they are in a good progress, but it's quite interesting. But rumor has it that even the flame trench won't be ready. They can go for the first ship catch attempt. Of course, if it will be late, then maybe it can happen. Then the flame trench will be ready until that time. Um,
By the way, this is a footage I would not be surprised that somebody got fired for, because this is okay. They're not showing any like very sensitive bits. It's the
it's just
construction.
concrete pouring, so maybe it's not
Yeah,
so sensitive.
yeah, but I mean, this is totally exclusive. I mean, this is just so cool that they actually, yeah, somebody's sandwich. Thank you. But
Enjoy.
yeah, this is going to be a huge structure. So
Well, we just
I
can't imagine the size of it. So
I
we had
think
to stand in the front of it to have some clue
which
how enormous big it is.
yeah, which we cannot obviously, but I think Felix was calculating that it will require around 1,000 trucks of concrete, around a
Maybe because only
thousand,
the
I
bottom
think.
part of the flame trench needed about 400 trucks. So with the ramps, I guess it will make 1,000 of
Yeah,
concrete trucks in total.
uh,
it,
yeah.
it it's a bit a lot.
Yeah, just a bit.
So yeah, the concrete pouring of the flame trench is ongoing, and
Mhm.
some parts of the inner walls are already installed again as well. You have the photos about the intersections or the supports, or how did you
Yes.
call it?
Yeah. It's the
Yeah, the
diverter
diverter parts.
support,
Yeah,
I
right.
think. Okay, so this is from Chrome Kiwi. So it's a flame diverter support.
Hmm.
Supports. And so this is the main structure. This is placed inside the flame trench. This is the deepest part of it. And
Hmm.
then if we go on, there is a flame diverter cross-load frame that goes on top of this support. And then
It will
this is
divert the diverter.
flame diverter. And then just to put it in context, that what goes on top of it is most likely these pipes. This is
Hmm.
the like a cooling system, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, of course, in a bigger scale compared to the masses, but we could see uh, in that time when the masses new flame trench was built, then there were just totally the same parts of it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
course it's a big scaled masses test site article, but yeah, even
Yeah,
but still the
scaled.
parts are the
Mhm.
same. Yeah.
Yep, cool.
And yeah, it should withstand many launches, and because of if they would have to change everything after each and every launch, then of course it won't do the trick. So that's
Hmm.
why they have to do it for the first time very strong and very very strong. So that's why it's a very detailed building right now, but they have to do it right now because yeah, the refurbishment would take even much more time. So
Hmm. Absolutely.
and it's a good thing. We don't have any photos about it, but the
We have
life.
from last week. We have from last week. I can show you that from the flame trench,
Hmm?
if that's helpful.
Yes, but I was talking about now the 39A, so the Florida test site
Mm-hmm,
or launch
mm-hmm,
site, sorry, because the life returned on this site.
mm-hmm,
Uh, and and that means that, for example, what we have seen here at the Starbase a couple of months ago, so the sheet piling, installing, that is happening right now at the Florida launch site. So it's a good sign that
mm-hmm,
they are only a couple of months behind the Starbase Pad B construction. However, of course, they don't have any test data with the Pad B, and still they think so that okay, that will do the trick, and they are go for the building of the 39A Launchpad. So the reconstruction of the Launchpad actually without any test data from this Starbase facility, and it's a quite brave movement or step, because of course we don't know how it work and how it will withstand not only the uh, launches but the first static fire, for example, with the booster.
To be
But
honest, look, Dave. If we approach this from I try to be a bit logical. I don't know how it sounds from me, but anyway, I risked it. If you think about it, um, they are now following. They are following the construction of a traditional flame trench. So it's
mm,
not like an experimental one. You know,
that's right.
spaceports, they use this construction of flame diverters and launch pads all around the world, so they cannot really go that wrong with that.
Mhm.
Maybe the sandwich, the removable bit,
Mhm. Mhm.
launch pad, probably that's a weaker point, but they can still modify it and going for a permanent one, which I don't think they will do, because that's the whole point, the rapid and the rapid reusability.
Mhm.
So the swappable launch pads, launch platform, sorry, that should work, I think. But the rest of it, the flame trench, the concrete pouring, the structure of it, how it looks and how it does its job, I think that's great. By the way, I don't know if you want to add something, but I just spotted it with the other camera view that we could see the morning workers rush to Starbase. This is so unique because there is a change of shift, I
Yeah,
think, in the
the
work.
morning shift is arriving
Yep.
now.
Yeah, exactly. When we were there, I mean, yeah, 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, we witnessed this sort of rush hour around 7 o'clock, which we are approaching, I believe, local time. And the sun came up almost. Well, it's still like 20 minutes almost, but look at this. What a beautiful sight. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we are lucky that the weather is quite clear today, and we
Yeah.
have so nice for yeah,
View,
just
scenic view.
scenic
Absolutely.
views. Yeah, that was I'm searching for. Thanks. So what was I'm talking? Or just what wanted to add that of course there are, let's say, the original or yeah, let's say the original big launch pads, but the force is what the super heavy will have, even with the Raptor 3 and with 35 engines. Of course, because of the booster, the Block 2 versions will have 35 instead of 33 engines. So the force is what these new launch pads have to withstand. It's unknown yet.
Mhm.
And however, of course, we know that the 39A launchpad and other big historical launchpads are quite big and quite strong. Of course, nothing of it had to withstand so big forces what the Super Heavy can generate, and that's why um, just I was just talking about the brave mechanics and brave guys of the SpaceX team, because without any test data, they are still going for these two constructions parallel, or just couple of months behind each other. Again, without any test data, it's quite it's quite new approach, let's say. So
Absolutely.
of course we will see hopefully in couple of months when the pad B will be ready and the first test will be made, then
Mhm.
how the this entirely new flame trench will work. But I'm quite optimistic with it as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. Absolutely. To our viewers, Ekij, please tell us your phonetics, how to say your name, because I like to say it properly. And there is no try. They both highlighting that would not that be a good idea to set up a concrete factory or finding a concrete factory near this site, so they don't need that many loads. We don't know exactly where the concrete is coming from. Um,
From
if the
Brownsville.
assumption is that yeah, it could be coming from Brownsville, it could be coming from anywhere in Texas. Obviously, closer the better, but we don't know the logistics. We don't know which companies are involved. Is it multiple companies or just one company? We don't know any of these details. We just see them coming.
Yeah.
There's no reason there where did they take off from. So we don't know exactly where they're coming from. But I think they were referring that somewhere in Starbase setting up a concrete factory, which I don't think it's a good idea.
Maybe it's not needed because
Yeah, probably it's in Brownsville or near Brownsville.
mm,
Hell knows. But this is shed loads of concrete for sure, and yeah, it's just difficult to do the logistics. And this is a big job. I mean, 1,000. concrete truck, that's a big job. This and
It's a
it
lot.
needs, yeah, it needs so much concrete. It's unbelievable. Yeah. This is like the scale of 39A in Florida.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can
when they
compare
built.
it.
Hmm. I think in our Hungarian show we had this photo of the original 39A from 65, and yeah, one can see that this was a mega project. So yeah, when you need to pour it, you have to pour it. That's it. There's no way out of it.
If you are lucky, then you have to do it only one time.
Yeah. By the way, this is from a previous episode from What About It. So that's another reason to watch the What About It episodes on Tuesdays and Fridays. So definitely make sure that you are tuning in because Felix is always bringing you the best and latest. So that's another good reason to tune into What About It. Also to um, definitely subscribe, follow the channel, show your support. A like can go a long way. You know, we are a Hungarian YouTube channel and we know exactly how important even a like that costs nothing. That's just one click and boom, you already helped the channel and the algorithm. So if you can, definitely show your support. And if you are in that position, please support them because they are bringing so much to the world, to the content, and they are bringing so much than these cars, the workers, you see. So this is a constant
It's like a
flow of
traffic jam.
workers. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So I think if there are no, yeah, let's thanks for the Romans for concrete. Exactly what the Romans gave us. Well,
Yeah.
roads and channel system, a canal system, and education, and yeah, but what else? Anyway, anyone who knows the Monty Python reference, Life of Brian, if you don't watch it, it's a great.
Lion.
Brian, yeah, the Lomans, so,
Lomans. Yeah.
the Lomans. Anyway, I think this was us for this week, and stay tuned. Lots of happenings are expected. Hopefully, the development's gonna go to the right direction. David, do you want to add at the end anything else?
I just want to thank your kind attention for today. And yeah, if everything goes perfect and good, then we will talk next time again next week, and
We
we
will
will
rock.
meet you.
We will rock you. Anyway, have a lovely week. And hopefully next week, I don't know if you go back to the original time, we will find out. But definitely stay tuned. We will be back, just like Arnie. So have a lovely week. Enjoy your day and see you next week. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye bye.